And welcome back. This is Baller Scuba with more bonus episodes of Let's Play Chrono Cross. I'm joined, as always, by Poshul. When we last left off, I said I was going to be focusing a little bit more on Poshul and a couple of things that we can do with her this playthrough, and the game is trying to lend a helping hand. So Poshul did show up for me here in the prologue. We're not going to focus on Poshul in the prologue, though, so I will meet you back in Arnie Village, I believe, will be the first time that we think about Poshul. Pretty early on, but I'll meet you there. Back in Arnie Village in Homeworld, we've pretty much just started the game. I wanted to talk to Poshul here. Let's just talk. I don't have the Hecarim bone, so Poshul's not going to join up. Oh, hi, Thurgy Poo. Me, I'm a bit busy right now. Have you already met up with Lena? Me think she was by the pier. So this is normally the Poshul that you get to join your party, right? You present this Poshul with the Hecarim bone, and then Poshul joins the party. That's pretty much how that normally goes. However, I'm not going to do that this time, but we are still going to get Poshul into the party, and I'll show you how you can do that a little bit later. And I think I mentioned this before, how you could do it the other way, but I want to kind of hone in on a certain fact that I didn't even think of until the last time that I played it. Also, I am going to want the assistance of Mojo, so I do have the shark tooth this time. He is going to be vital for getting a piece of dialogue that I have not gotten before. So I'm going to meet you after I go through Lizard Rock and talk to Lena in Opasa Beach, and then probably meet you after the fight with Kid when Kid asks to join the party at Cape Howell. I'll meet you there. Back at Cape Howell, technically in another world. Now, in order to get here, I have to talk to Lena in another world. And I've checked around in Arnie Village in another world, and Poshul is nowhere to be found. If you go and find Poshul's house, there is a note saying that Poshul has gone on a trip and do not go looking for her. But Poshul is not available in another world. But if you did not recruit Poshul in Homeworld and then you refuse Kid here, Poshul will join your party. And I'm a little confused by this one. So I want to point it out a little bit more. No, I'm still saying no. I'm absolutely saying no, Kid. You need to stay away from me as much as possible. I might stab you. I'm just saying, I could cut a bitch. No thanks, we're saying no. And off she goes. Now keep in mind, it was only Surge in my party. He was by himself. So off she goes, right? Poshul's not here. I'll be heading up north to a town called Termina. I am aware. Yeah, I'll go shack up for the night. No Hecarim bait. Even though, once again, I don't think we ever see a Hecarim. It's definitely not on the doppelgang list. Otherwise, I would know about it. But, like, we kind of get this quiet fade to black of Surge staring out over the ocean, and then he wakes up in his room, and both Lena and Poshul are here now. See, I've never went this path before until last time, and then I found it really interesting. Rise and shine, a new day awaits. I'm glad I found you here, though. Surge, right? Kind of feels odd calling you that. You know, I've been thinking, maybe you had some kind of accident and hit your head. That's why your memory's all messed up. You're really someone else, but you think you're the Surge who died 10 years ago. That's a different game, lady. I want to help you. I can't just leave you alone like this. He was poisoned. And you don't seem like such a bad person either. You're planning to go to Termina, right? Then let me join you. I have some errands to run over there anyway. Which I think is just to go chat with Lisa. And to tell you the truth, it feels like I've always known you. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Well, that's that. Shall we get going? And then after all of that, Lena does join the party, right? Automatically. And then Poshul does join the party as well. wait for me am coming too. A field trip we will go, a field trip we will go. Hi-ho the merry-o, a field trip we will go. Did you get your permission slip signed, Poshul? And then Poshul joins the party. Now, keep in mind, the only way that you can do this is to refuse Kid and have nobody else in your party, right? Because Poshul's the only recruitable character before you travel between worlds. So it's just Surge. That's all you can do. All right, so then we're going to head to Termina. Poshul, full speed ahead. But I want it pointed out that this is now the Poshul from another world. And I think this is the only character that you can technically recruit in either world, depending on when you grab her. It is a her, right? I've been saying her, and now I'm doubting that. It was her. Yes. It is indeed a her. But if you get it earlier, it's the Poshul from Homeworld. If you get it now, it's a Poshul from another world. And I don't know why, but that just occurred to me, and it stands out to me because I can't think of another character that you can recruit both ways like that. And there are characters that we meet, well, there's lots of characters that we meet in both worlds, but as far as I know, Poshul's the only one that you can get from both worlds. If there's another one, let me know, but I find it kind of ironic. And I'm also curious now if I keep Poshul in my party, because we're going to save Kid this time as well. There's a scene where Korcha says that Surge is the only one from another world, and then Poshul should interrupt saying, no, I'm from Surge's world. I'm curious if that happens this time, because technically Poshul's not from my world this time. Just curiosities. Just everywhere. So, like I said before, I do want to get Mojo into the party. He's going to be required for another piece of dialogue that we have not seen before. We're going to head to Termina, and Kid's going to meet us there. And usually Kid does say, oh, and looks at Lena, says, you got a Sheila with you, which kind of just means you got a girl with you. And that must be the reason why you said no to me before. However, there is a way to go there without having Lena in your party, and it requires Poshul and Mojo. So I'm going to get Mojo. Well, technically, if you're playing the first time, it's Mojo, but you guys know what I mean. So I'm going to get him into the party, and we're going to have an oddball party as we go to Termina this time. Ready to head into Termina, but before we do, it's been a long time since Mojo has been in the party, or Mojo, however you want to call him, so I wanted to point out exactly how bad his stats are, because I think they are worth pointing out. So let's head in, and you can see 3 decent comparisons, right? We have Surge, who's probably still the best overall character, 87 strength, 52 magic. That's probably the thing that I'm looking at the most in terms of offensive capabilities, because defense isn't that big of a problem for me. Poshul, decent physical attacker, 84 strength is not bad, but it's not terrible. Poshul's magic stat at 39, though, is amongst the lower end. Not a good magic stat there. So if you're using Poshul, primarily you're going to be using Poshul for her strength and not for her magic. With that said, let's look at Mojo's stats. We've got 71 strength, so that's kind of comparable to where my magic user's strength is. So characters like Razlie are around there. I believe Lena's got more strength than that, though. So you might be thinking, well, maybe Mojo's magic is really good. No, it's at 40. So Mojo is awful with strength, awful with magic, awful at defense, right? A resistance of 66 is not good. Magic resistance also on the lower end. It could be lower, right? There are people that have lower magic resistance than Mojo, Poshul being one of them. So what is Mojo really good at? Agility. I believe that 78 agility is the highest agility in my party, which I believe means that Mojo will evade physical attacks only better than anyone else in my party. So if you want a dodger and not much else, you can pick Mojo. Problem with that is Usually when you have a character that can dodge like that, you have the ability to make that character force your enemies to focus on that dodgy character. That doesn't work for Mojo. There's no way for Mojo to force the enemies to hit him. So I don't see the point in having a high evasion party member. And that's really all Mojo seems to be good for. So my hatred of Mojo and kicking him out of the party pretty much as soon as we got him, I think was well earned. All right, let's head into Termina. I don't know why I felt the need to point that out, but I felt like I was kind of mean to Mojo to start, and I wanted to point out that he indeed earned it. All right, so let's fast forward through Glenn's little scene here. It doesn't take too long, and we have seen it many times. Well, I've seen it probably a dozen times now. We're ready to go forward through it. And I want to go up the stairs and talk to Kid. Eventually, once the music kicks in. All right, there's Kid. Kid, I don't have a Sheila with me at all. God, you're slow. You made me wait forever, making a lovely lady like... You're walking a dog when you don't even know who the hell you are? Boy, you amaze me. Oh well, I guess it ain't such a bad idea to walk around and clear up your mind a bit. Well then, have a bloody good time. So we do get a new scene with Kid, relatively, for that. So she doesn't get too mad at me, she's just kind of weirded out that I'm walking a dog. A dog that's never really explained, if we're being honest. There are normal dogs in the game, and then there's Poshul. Just throwing that out there. Maybe Poshul is secretly a demi-human. What do I know? But that is the scene that I wanted to show off this time. It doesn't matter which one of the paths that we take now to get into Viper Manor. The only thing that matters right now for this playthrough is that I choose to save Kid, which I will do. I'm going to take care of that off screen, and I'll meet you back with a party of Poshul and Razly when Korcha starts talking about, well, that there's another world, because I want to see if Poshul says that she's from this world or another world. Well, Surge's home world or another world. I'll meet you there, though.